Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. Of course, I'm your host, BeBall Jones. And, over in Columbus State, a current Cougar, which is the reigning Peach Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Nelson Haskins over there. And guess what, people? We have another guest coming on today. So, Nelson, introduce the special feature for today.
All right, today we got a special guest for y'all, man. We have with us today a CSU legend. This guy, I've only met him about twice, I think, but I've seen him play twice, and everything I had heard when I came to CSU. Because when I came to CSU, he's one of them guys. Every school you go to, you got those guys that are like, "Hey, this guy used to do this." He's one of those guys that used to be here doing this. So that's why I say he's a CSU legend. Coach Moore, my coach, that always telling us about him and the work he put in. So this guy is one of those guys for me, came before me. So without further ado, I want to introduce y'all to the man himself, Mr. Giant-Jacori Payne. Well, man, what's going on?
How you doing, brother? Appreciate the intro, guys.
No problem, man. Let's hop right into it, man. So first, introduce yourself to the people a little bit. Let them know where you're from and where you at currently and all that good stuff.
Well, as y'all said, my name is Giant-Jacori Payne. I come from Dublin, Georgia. Came to Columbus and did my 4 years there and graduated in 2018. Currently playing overseas. This is my 5th year. I've played in Armenia, Switzerland twice, Netherlands, and now I'm playing in France.
Okay. So our first question for you, man. So you went to CSU straight out of high school, like you said, but you did the whole 4 years. So tell us a little bit about like your high school experience and what made you decide to go straight D2 instead of like nowadays everybody's kind of been on going JUCO and maybe prep school and stuff like that. So what made you decide to go straight to D2?
So for me, coming out of Dublin, Georgia in high school, I had a pretty good high school career as well. But it's a small school, so I'm putting up numbers, but nobody's calling really. Had a couple opportunities to go play at some smaller, low major Division Ones, but it didn't work out. And then Coach Moore, he came along, and instantly it felt like home. I took my visit. And then I saw the 3 gyms. I was like, all right, let's get it. This is the place for me. So, and I was always a firm believer of if you got talent, if you're good, whoever need to find you, they gonna find you. So I never felt like the Division II tag was gonna hold me back from reaching my goals of going overseas. So I committed, I signed, and I just rolled it all the way through.
Did you know from the jump that you wanted to stay out 4 years, or was it like you just kind of fell into your lap type of thing?
Nah, so I mean, I was one of those guys who was also saying like, all right, I'm gonna do 1 year and I'm out. But push come to shove, everything will always work out. I come in my freshman year, and it was an adjustment for a young kid, so it didn't go as planned. And now I'm battling to just stay in the rotation at a Division II. So going to a Division I it's out the window now. I'm trying to fight for my position here. So I wanted to change, but I guess things worked out in my favor by not changing, because the next year I came back and we took off then.
That's what's up. So did you always knew you wanted to try to play pro overseas or on some type of level?
For sure, 100%. Like I told so many people when I was younger, like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is all I'm gonna do. Like, no plan B. So yeah.
Okay, so a good main question I have for you, I think what kind of makes you special, and like in a way you're not that old, but you did your career in an old fashioned type of way, because you came in, you was a freshman and coming into a D2, and like everybody else, you thought like, okay, I'm gonna come in and do my 1 year and I'm trying to go higher or whatever. And then that ain't really work out. And you didn't get you had to fight for the playing time and be in a rotation. So what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna stay here. I'm not leaving. Like you probably could have went to another school, got more playing time, whatever. Did things differently. So what made you
Mm-hmm.
decide like, now I'm gonna stay here and stick with it?
So throughout that season, it was me and one more freshman. But me being a small kid, I was what 5'9", maybe a buck 30, buck 35. So I'm small. I'm adjusting. On that team, it was 9 seniors. So and those guys was way much older. Like they're like 26, 25, 24. So they're gonna be
Oh,
heavy. It was a rough year for me, but at the same time, they gave me guidance. They would give me insight, information, and just tough love, basically. So in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, after this season, man, I'm entering the transfer portal and I'm out. And I can remember one conversation I had with one guy named D'Angelo, which was one of our forwards. We was locker buddies, basically. And I remember him saying, like, you gonna let somebody else come in here and take your position, take your home. And that just stuck with me. So I actually took a visit to a JUCO. It didn't work out. I didn't like it. Man, Coach Moore was like, all right, you want to come back? You can come back. And I remember him saying he would take Cam Baker, Brent Jackson, and the other guard he had coming in as his starting five to go against whoever in the Peachville. So in my whole summer, that was my motivation. Like, all right, you're gonna take them. I'm gonna show you why you're making the wrong decision. I'm gonna show you why I'm that guy. So that was my mentality. And I approached that summer and that preseason just like that. And I let it be known that I wasn't no backup at no Division two. So I think it's clear now.
oh, that's what's up, man. I I play for Coach Moore, so I know how he kind of is, especially when he have his guys that he like bought in on. And I don't know all the guys you name, but I know of them. Like I met Cam Baker, but everybody talk about how good Cam is. I never met D'Angelo Kirkland, but everybody talk about how good he was and stuff like that. So you play around some real talent. Like, was it hard to like not get discouraged and be like, nah, like maybe I can't do this, or maybe I need to go somewhere else? Like, was it hard to stay with it and like play with these guys?
Because it wasn't new for me. In high school, it was the same way, the same exact way. I started off ninth grade, back up JV, so that same transition throughout my 4 years was the same exact way for college. So being that I had that experience, I knew how to handle it. I knew how to approach it. That I just need to work harder, make myself better. And that's what I did. When I wasn't playing, I was just in the gym working out heavy. Approaching practice like my games, using those reps to get better, challenge myself. So it wasn't that hard, but it was a little hard just because I had a taste of it at first, and then he took it away from me. So that was the only struggle I had my freshman year.
So what was like the mental game for you to like was it challenging for you to go back into it again? Because you felt like, man, I overcame it already. Like you said, I went through this to high school. Was it hard for you to get back into that mode again when you felt like you've overcame it? Or is it just like, all right, here I go again. So let me just, strap back up and go back to war?
I wouldn't say it was hard, but it wasn't easy either because you coming off that high school and now you're entering a new level. And this new level, they don't care about what you did at the lower level. So it's just rebranding, basically just starting all over. So it wasn't much of a challenge just because I had already experienced it before. So I was like, all right, I can just do it again. And the same thing with professionally, to be honest. Same as that thing.
Was it like a humbling thing too? Like, did you like come in with any ego at all and you just had to get humble real quick? Or was it just like, all right, this is what it is?
I think it was just growing pain, No ego, but just knowing that, all right, you entering a new level. You got to level up. You got to get better. You got to grow up. Basically, just become a man and establish yourself at this level, man. Keep going up.
So, I mean, I ain't trying to. I want to ask this in the right way, but like, you was young, so at the time, did it feel like, okay, the guys in front of me are older, so like, they know more, they're a little more, they got more than I have right now, or did it always feel like, man, like I should be playing over those guys?
Always. Always. Practices. I'm going at them. Like, you know how when you on scout team, guys want you to chill, be relaxed.
Yes.
I'm going at them. Like, come on, this is my game. But I mean, at the same time, though, I supported those guys who was in front of me because I wanted to win. At the end of the day, it was never no me or you. It was just about um, just winning, basically. But I did feel like I was better. So, and I would still say that today if I saw them. But they my guys though.
That's what's up. Like I think that's the best mentality to have, because like you always supposed to feel like, okay, I'm good enough to be playing. As a player, you need that
Yeah,
confidence, especially in basketball.
yeah,
You got to have confidence. But like I also think it's important to be happy for the man in front of you. Like, cause we are all on the same team. Like I got to be happy for this guy. He still play for me. Like he on my team. We still brothers. Like I think like that was the best mentality for you to have. Because I'm a firm believer. Like if you can't be happy for the man in front of you, then you ain't gonna never be the one in front. Like,
Mhm.
and so you was like, even though you might have felt like, yeah, like I feel like I'm better than you guys, like I should be playing. You was happy for him, and then your time eventually came, and you made the best of it. So it'd be hard for some people to be happy for the man in front of them sometimes. So I feel like
for sure,
you took the best approach to it, and it worked out for you. Like people see stuff like that, so that worked. I feel like that's what made things work for you.
for sure, for sure, 100%.
So all right, so moving on. Uh, when did you like really know, like in your time at CSU, like you said, your freshman year you weren't getting as much burn. Your next year you were starting, you taking off a little bit. So when did you really know, like, okay, I can be a pro, or I'm going to be a pro, I'm good enough to be pro?
Mm. Well, I knew I was. I always knew I was good enough. I knew it was going to happen. I would say maybe, to be honest, I had uncertainty that things would work out up until like my senior year. I knew I had the skill level and everything, but kind of the same thing when you're trying to get a scholarship. When you're trying to go overseas, it's a process. It's all about exposure, networking and getting with the right group of guys. And coming from Columbus, a Division II, I didn't have those connections, so I had to put in a year of um, basically establishing myself once again overseas when I went to Armenia, which is like a third world country. So it was pretty much the same. But I always knew I had the talent and the skill level. That was never a question. So I would probably say my senior year.
So between, freshman year to senior year, did you ever like waver and be like, you don't know how, likely is you're gonna be pro? Is it just so you always knew from the jump? It's like it's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time because I had the blueprint. I had the blueprint from my guy. His name is Ben Smith, same hometown. He played overseas when I was coming up. So, and I also did all my training with him when I'm a high school kid. So he laid out the blueprint for me, and I just followed it. So I always knew I was build pro, and it was just a matter of time.
Mm.
Make sure all the stars align. Yeah.
Okay. What kind of was Coach Moore helping you during your time? Like, was he like like helping you process like the pro game? Like, yeah, you need to be able to do this, do that. Like, was he helping you during that time?
I think I have one text message from Coach Moore, screenshotted in my phone, but this is during like my regular season in CSU, my senior year.
Mm.
But I guess I wasn't playing up to my potential at the time, and he was basically saying like, you BSing around, like this should be your bullet points, what it is, first team all conference, this and that, woo woo woo, and go overseas and make money. So I always kept that blueprint or his bullet points in my mind throughout my senior year. Like, all right, let me not play around with my opportunity. So yeah, I would say he had a little helping hand, and I give him his credit.
Hey, man, shout out to Coach, man. He
Shout out to
got
Coach
plenty
Moore.
pros.
Shout out to Coach Moore, man.
Okay, so you play out your 4 years. You were second team all conference twice. You clearly took over the game when you got there, and you finished top 3 in points or something like that. I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, top 3 in points in the career. So
Could have been number one.
if you played your freshman year.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it should have been number one.
Hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. But
yeah.
so you clearly left your mark on CSU though. You one of them guys people bring up around here, like even like locals, like bring you up, like when they talk about CSU basketball, and it's like you one of them guys, like how people be talking about who better, Kobe or LeBron, Kobe, Mike, LeBron, stuff like that. People talk about you kind of like that, like they'd be like, man, if Jacori was here, this and this and this would be going on. They would win the championship, this and that. Like this guy better. They supposed to be like this guy one of the best players that play. And that's man, he ain't better than Jacori Payne. Like that's what kind of guy you are around here. So I just kind of want to get your input, like how, like overall, like give us your overall insight on playing for CSU. Like how was it for you? Just talk about your overall experience playing here and for Coach Moore and stuff. So let us know what all you got out of it.
Man, just a whole lot of love. I came in and met some brilliant people that stuck with me throughout my 4 years. For good or worse, we were always a family. Even outside of basketball, we would hang out together. Some of the guys I still talk to today check up on me and FaceTime me while I'm overseas. So simple things like that mean a lot to me. And, I always come home and visit Columbus every summer, spend some time with my teammates who still live in Columbus. And, man, it's just a family, man. I appreciate it to the most. Like, you can't really put it in words. Hopefully one day I may go back and coach there, or who knows? Who knows what the situation will be? But it's a lot of love there. It's a lot of love. A good city too, with potential. So who knows?
So what's like your favorite memory from your time there? Like, was it a game where you went crazy at? Was it like, what's your favorite memory or thought when you think about CSU and your playing career there?
And it don't even have to be basketball. Like, it was outside of basketball, like just being there.
You find the love of your life there, whatever it might be.
My best memory at Columbus, I would probably say, I would give you one that's basketball and one that's not basketball. Basketball-wise, I would probably say just playing in the Lumpkin Center, to be honest. We had a couple of home games where it was a packed-out crowd, and when you're performing in front of everybody, I still get that adrenaline to this day. Like, in the Lumpkin, you got all your peers, your classmates in there, so you feeling good. Like, and I could just remember a couple epic battles we had in there, and being able to perform to the best of my ability, being able to have my family come and experience that with me. That was probably definitely my favorite moments at CSU. Outside of basketball, probably just living in the dorms with my friends. My best friend Arvin Kamaz. We was roommates for like 3 years, so every day was like an adventure for us, like just having fun as just being kids. So I think that was my favorite college memory.
No, I'm gonna tell you this now. I met Alvin Kamaj actually like last week during like alumni day. He came down, so that's kind of cool. But I'm gonna tell you this now. When Biscuit see this, he gonna be upset that you said Alvin Kamaj. Like, for those who don't know, Biscuit is Biscuit my homeboy too, but he one of Jacori homeboys that lives here in Columbus, and like I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you now. You're gonna be upset when you see this, and you be like, "Oh, so Alvin Kamara your best friend now, huh, bro?" I'm already tell you what he gonna say.
I think he'll understand though. He understand the connection me and Arvin got. But Biscuit my guy too, man. One of a kind. Yeah, that's my guy.
Definitely one of a kind. But yeah, shout out to Biscuit, man, because I already know he gonna watch this episode when it drops. So shout
Oh,
out to
for sure,
Biscuit.
for sure.
Wait, wait, hold on. Time out. Hold on real quick. I just got a quick question for you. All right, okay, look. So where did you go? Like, what are you going after right now in your life? Right? Are you looking to make the team? Okay, you didn't make the team, but you're looking to figure out how to make the team coming up. Or maybe you made the team, but you're on the bench, you're not playing like you want to. Or maybe you're playing a little bit like you want to, but you're not a starter, or you're not finishing the games like you want to. Or maybe you're the player, but you're just not quite where you want to be as far as recognizing your county or maybe your conference or your state, whatever you're trying to be recognized at. Whatever your goal is, I want you to forget about that. Like, put it on the board or something, write it down in your phone, and just put it somewhere and tuck it away. I want you to take that goal, throw it over there, and now I want you to write a new one, right? I want you to write PROGRESS. Progress. I want you to make progress your goal. Okay? So take that big goal that you have now and take it, put it in your back pocket, and just figure out how to make progress and work towards that goal. Because sometimes we get so caught up on the goal of the end goal where we want to be that we don't keep working forward and working towards that goal like we should be. So every day I want you to wake up and figure out how to just make progress. How can I be better today than I was yesterday? It's new tomorrow. The same exact thing. Figure out how can I be better today than I was yesterday. It doesn't matter how good you are or what you did yesterday. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Your goal today is to make progress, be better than you was yesterday. And so just if you need a reminder about that, all I want you to do is to have a reminder. I want you to go ahead and get one of these hoodies. Or you get you a t-shirt. I got a couple options for you. So get you a hoodie or a t-shirt just to remind yourself, just to keep it as a memento to be like, man, today's goal is to make progress. My only goal is to make progress. Progress is the only goal. So if that fits you and you feel like you need to make progress to be your goal, go ahead and hit the link in the description below and invest into yourself. Invest into that reminder. Treat it like an alarm clock to remind you that you need to make progress. Make sure that you're focused and being intentional about the work that you have today. So progress is the only goal. Hit the description below to invest into yourself. It's not about me. Investing into yourself to remind yourself that progress is my goal for today. So that's enough for me, man. I hope I didn't interrupt you. Get back to the episode.
All right, man. So moving on. So you finish your senior year here and get ready to go pro. So tell us about your pro recruitment. You already mentioned that you went to Armenia out the gate. And, that's not really the best league at the time. But, it's your rookie season. So tell us about your whole little recruitment process going from senior year to being a pro.
Man. So finishing my senior year, there was no guidance for me. I didn't know what direction I should go into. I didn't know who I needed to talk to. You have a couple of guys emailing you about showcases in the States, which is basically, for those who don't know, just a way for those guys to make money. So I made that mistake a couple of times. And I remember going to a weekend showcase in Philadelphia, playing well, making the all-star teams, thinking that, all right, now somebody's going to call me. No call. 2 weeks later, me and my parents, we scrape up some money to send me to Vegas. I go out there and ball out, all-star, everything. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm in Vegas, a little bit bigger. No calls. So I'm like, man, it's getting tricky for me. So after that, I remember my auntie was saying, like, all right, where we going next? So after that, I remember getting a message on Facebook, and it was the Sims combine at Clayton State. And he was like, man, if you come, I can guarantee you a deal to Armenia. So I went there, I balled out, get MVP. I signed the deal the next day. and didn't know anything about Romania, didn't know where it was at, didn't know what I was signing up for, but I was just happy to be able to sign a deal. So signing that, I think I left maybe a month later, and it was an experience, just culture shock, asking myself what I done got myself into. Like, it was a whole lot for me, but it definitely helped me grow, and it challenged me every day for 10 months. But it worked out. It worked out for sure.
Mm. So what's like the biggest lesson that you learned throughout that whole process? Or like what's like the like somebody that's in your position doesn't know anything or whatever, what's something you can tell them that you learned throughout that process to help them out so they won't go through it?
Just do your research, connect with the right people. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and trust in God. Have faith. Continue to work hard, and just be ready when the opportunity presents itself. And when you get it, don't play around with it.
Mm.
Yeah, I need this advice actually. So,
Yeah.
but did you end up signing an agent like soon as when you came out, or did you figure everything out on your own?
Yeah. So when I was at the Sims Combine, he had a friend who was starting an agency. So it's kind of like we started our career together. So I ended up signing with him. But after I finished the season in Armenia, I decided to get a European agent because it made more sense to me if I'm finna be playing in the European market. So
Mm,
I made that switch, and I've been with that same agent since.
okay.
So I gotta ask you. So you said the guy's basically starting his agency around the same time. So what made
Mhm.
you want to trust him being like he's a beginner? You know what I mean? Like what made you want to say he's a beginner so I can trust him rather than going with somebody that's more experienced? Or that's just kind of like all you had?
It was all I had. It was all I had, and I didn't, I didn't know not to trust him. Like he was a good person and everything. I trusted his commitment and his vision for his clients, and it was all I had. So we just decided to team up.
I mean, but he did help you get to Armenia though, right? Like, was he part of that
Yeah,
process? All right,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
so
yeah. He was a part of the process. Yeah, yeah,
so
Mm.
I mean, it wasn't nothing there.
yeah. For sure, for sure.
But
Mm.
so you play your first year in Armenia, and like now that I'm kind of getting ready to go into the same kind of process that you went into, looking for an agent and a team and stuff like that. I'm like all that is kind of in front of me. So when you got to Armenia, they always say your first year is kind of like your worst year when you're a pro. It's like, when you go pro, your first year is always going to be like the least amount of money. You probably going to be in the worst league and, whatever. And, you got to work your way up. So
Mhm.
when you got in there your first year, um, did you get in like on the mindset like, okay, I got to ball out and get up out of here, like move up, elevate? What was your mindset going into your rookie season?
My mindset was to double up, level up. I knew I knew I was better. I knew I deserved more, and I basically took the approach of a 10 month long mission. I knew my end goal, and all I had to do was show up to work every day and challenge myself every day to accomplish that end goal. And once that end goal come, we move on. We keep on doubling up each contract, each season. Just continue to get better, continue to make those honors open they paycheck. So that was always my vision.
So when you left Armenia, what was the next spot for you?
After I left Armenia, I signed with the European agent. Um, I remember him telling me his vision for me and our collaboration, and we ended up signing in Switzerland, in Basel. I went to Switzerland. Switzerland was like Basel was in the lower pack of the league and the teams in the league. So I went there and basically had to ball out and be that main guy and establish myself in the European market, because Switzerland is more it's more in the central part of in Europe. So more teams, more leagues, pay more attention there to find clients to bring them to their league. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I basically had to market myself, and when I went to Switzerland,
Hmm.
and that was my
Go ahead.
bad. That was the COVID year. That was my COVID year.
Ooh.
So yeah. So our season was cut short that year, and that next year, I went to the Netherlands, but I still was making the same type of money that I was making in Switzerland. So feeling like, all right, man, I don't wasted a year. COVID year was crazy, but yeah.
Crazy for all
So
of
your
them.
first year there was your COVID year, right?
In Switzerland, yeah.
Tell me something about that, bro. Because like COVID was a lot for a lot of people. So like, what was that like for you? Because you thinking you about to go over there and just do your thing, but
Yeah.
then it's like COVID. So what was that like?
Right. To be honest, that season wasn't as crazy as the next season.
Mm-hmm.
I think the shutdown happened, I want to say maybe March or April. I think March.
Yeah.
But so up to that point, I'm having a good season. I'm leading the league in scoring. We're trying to make a push for a playoff spot, and we was entering the last round of playing everybody, and just like that, we like, dang, the season is over, like just like that, like. So it kind of shocked me, and it was definitely unexpected. So, but it left a huge gap in between April to August. So, as a professional, that this is my only, at the time that was my only income. So it's like, man, that's crazy. I wasn't expecting that. It kind of hit me out of nowhere. And I said that the next season I felt more of an effect, because now going into Netherlands, you playing with no audience. We had to get a COVID test every like twice a week. What else? It was times where we couldn't go nowhere but to the grocery store and to the gym and back to our apartment. So that next season was way tougher than the actual lockdown, or the initial lockdown, if I should say.
Oof, that's
Yeah,
tough.
that next season was crazy, man. Like that next season was crazy.
Yeah, I remember my COVID year. Like when COVID actually hit in 2020, we was already done playing because I was in JUCO at this time. That was my sophomore year at JUCO, and so our season ended, and like that next Monday, school had like shut down, sent us home or something like that. So I didn't even go to school no more after the season was over. Like, because I want to say our season ended on like a Thursday, and then that next Monday everybody went home, and then the world shut down. Nobody was going nowhere. Nobody was doing nothing. And then next school year I signed with Columbus State. And I ended up going there. I went to Columbus. I signed with Columbus State, and I had not took a visit. I hadn't seen the school, ain't been to Columbus in my life, none of that. But I signed because it was like, I still talked to Comore and all that, did everything over Zoom and phone calls and stuff. And so I ended up going. But then, I go and like that, like just like you, like that next season was the craziest year because it was like, number one, we didn't play a single game until January.
That's crazy.
Like, man, you know how bad that was? Because, as a basketball player, you conditioned to start playing in like October, November.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you condition and work out all September, August, September, you conditioning. October, you working out and stuff, but then you getting ready to play games. You start practicing in October, all that good stuff. You might have some scrimmages and stuff. In November, we playing. Man, we was running and working out from September to December. And we was like it got to the point like we started hating each other as teammates. Like,
Yeah,
we like each other, but like we had been playing each other so long without playing somebody else. And I think that was, that's kind of the part of your camaraderie as teammates. Is like, okay, we go at each other in practice, but then we play games. We all together. We all on the same team against, the opponent. We going against each other for 5 months. It was like we just playing each other. We ain't going against nobody else.
that's tough on the mental for sure.
Man, we was sick. We were sick of it. And then we finally
So
got to play, and we only played like 12 games. And then our season got shut down to COVID. And so that was just that. Like, we shut down again. So, oh, man. I know how you felt about that next season. That
man,
next season was terrible.
yeah, man, that COVID situation, man, it was a rough experience for everybody. Like,
Mhm.
it's unfortunate for sure.
So when the lockdown happened, were you able to come back over here? Did you stay overseas or what?
I think I flew back maybe immediately, probably 2 or 3 days. Like, season over, I booked my ticket. I'm out. No need for me to be over here.
So what you do during that process, man?
In the off season,
Yeah.
in the gym, went back to my normal routine. It's just the off season was a little bit longer, being that I was home from April up to August. So just a longer off season, and spend time with my family, obviously, and just working.
Was it difficult to like train throughout the whole time, not knowing what the time frame is going to be like and, what the next situation is going to be?
Um, it it wasn't that difficult because I actually enjoyed the process of training, and I ended up
Mhm.
signing my next deal pretty early. So usually I like to wait to late June or early July to sign my deal, but that year I signed early just for security reasons. I didn't want,
Mhm.
I didn't want like to have that open slot in my resume. So I like, I need to get a job. I need to lock in a job. So my agent hit me with the Netherlands job, and I signed that maybe late April, maybe. So
Mhm.
that's really early. Yeah. Yeah. So it
Mhm.
wasn't that, but it wasn't that difficult though. It wasn't that difficult.
Okay. So throughout your lockdown, man, everybody kind of like had some level of personal growth or tried to have it, man. Did you go through that process for you?
And during the lockdown, my personal growth, jeez. I think I'm someone who pretty much like to challenge themselves, every year to grow to some certain extent. But during the lockdown, maybe I probably picked up some new habits, or some new hobbies, and I think I'm trying to line up my time frame. But I think around that time I started trading, in the stock market. Um, and I think around that time I started writing heavy. I like to write, I like to read a lot. So I think around that time you spending more time inside. So that was one of my escapes of just writing more.
Mm. Okay. Okay. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
All right. So, um, we winding down to the end. So tell the people where you are now, what level you on, all that good stuff, and just tell us how you got there.
Currently I'm in France, in the second division of France, Pro B. Playing for a team called Nantes. We're maybe 8th seed right now within the league, 8 out of 18 teams. Mm, but yeah, how did I get here? Just believing in God, believing in my purpose, and staying true to myself and my foundation, and just continue to work. And to get better in each and every way, every year, every season, every off season, and to always be present and enjoy the moment, enjoy the opportunity, never take it for granted, and just always try to be the best that I could be and to level up after that.
Man, like you you are like you are literally like how like players think their career should go in a certain way. Mine is like the COVID stuff and all that, kind of threw a hiccup in everything. But like you kind of started bottom tier league and then you worked your way up, and that's kind of how like, or at least that's how it was explained to me. Like, yeah, you're gonna start in a low tier league in your rookie season, and that's gonna probably be the least amount of money you make. But as long as you work and get better and you produce, you'll just continuously move up. So so talk about like what are the biggest differences between like not so much culturally, because France and Armenia are two very different places, obviously, but like more about the league and like your resources and stuff. So what are the biggest differences between being in the second tier league in France and a small league in Armenia?
Man, I can write a book. Okay, so when I went to Armenia, it was five of us to an apartment. Five of us to an apartment, one kitchen, two bathrooms, one washer, no dryer, no car.
Dang.
Very unprofessional. We had to take a train or tram, they call it, just to get to practice. We didn't even practice every day. Didn't have no car to go and get groceries. Just it was a struggle, but we made it through there. So in comparison to France, the professionalism is just the contrast is way better. Obviously now I have my own apartment, my own car, health insurance, all the protections that a athlete will need, and just the day to day is just much easier when it's handled professionally. We know our schedule, we know how things are going to handle. Like, and when we was in Armenia, we will expect a game one day, and then I'll be like, all right, nah, it's canceled. We'll play again maybe 2 days from now. So it was a challenge, but it's a process, I guess. Hopefully you don't have to go to a league like Armenia and experience that. Hopefully, being that you're a big man, it might be a little bit easier for you. So, but for me, being a small guard, I think we were a dime a dozen. So I had to grind it out. I had to grind it out, man.
So if you could like explain the different levels of each league for somebody who's not as aware of it, like if you could explain Romania is like this versus where you are now, it's like this. So if you could explain like what the differences are for somebody who doesn't understand.
I think the difference goes in like you can put it in the categories where obviously there's more money in the better leagues. The local players are better. What else? Money, the local players, and just the competition overall is better. So in Armenia, the local players are bottom tier. And France, France have this belief where they're just like this with Americans, like we just as good, so the competition is way more challenging. You have to show up to work every day. You got to bring it every day. In a smaller league, you can, all right, this team, they ain't nothing. We can just breeze by them. In France, nah, anybody can beat anybody any given night. So that's definitely a huge difference. And I also played internationally when I was in Netherlands with the team Den Bosch. Internationally, being that you have FIBA Euro Cup where you're playing teams from multiple countries. When you're playing domestically, you're only playing teams within your country. So now that I'm playing domestically, I'm only playing teams in France. But when I was in Netherlands, I was playing teams from Belgium, Poland, Russia, Turkey. You're playing teams from everywhere. So that's more challenging as well, because not only are you playing internationally, but you're playing domestically at the same time. So you may have 2 or 3 games a week. and you know the traveling and everything. So, but you don't have that when you're playing in, let's say, a league like Armenia. You're not playing Turkey or whatever. You're just playing in Armenia, and yeah, it's a lot of different things. You know, some leagues have different amounts of import they can have come in. I think in France you only can have 2 Americans, but let's say when I was in Switzerland or Netherlands, it was maybe 4 or 6. I can't remember. So yeah, it's a lot of small, just detailed differences that you may encounter.
So only 2 Americans on you. So you and only one other American on your team right now.
Yeah, but there's a way that you can add one more, but they have to have a different passport. So let's say I went and got a passport from Armenia. Now I'm not an American anymore. I got an Armenian passport. So, and that's a situation for our team where one of our guys have a different passport, so he's not counted as an American. Just ways around the rules, I guess, to make us a better team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you said you mentioned like the guys in France kind of feel like they're right there with Americans. Do you feel that in practice? Like, do they go at you like, oh, you think you better than us because you're American type deal? Like, I'm just curious.
It's not that approach. It's just goes back to the saying where iron sharpens iron. Like we believe that we have 10 guys who can go out and can start on any team, which make us a deeper team, have more depth. So yeah, we push each other and we push each other in practice. We challenge each other, but it's all healthy. You know, it's no ego in it. It's I'm better than you. I'm better than you. Nah, it's just all right. Lace them up. Like we finna get at it today. Yeah, that's all it is. You score on me, I stop you. Hey, good shot, good defense. Do it again. You know, so yeah, I think it's pretty healthy.
So have you ever felt like you had a target on your back being American? Like even if it's not your teammates, just like overseas at all?
A target? Me personally, no, because I think I blend in pretty well. I'm a small guy, so I go out in public. You know, I don't catch everybody's eye. Maybe if you went out in public, you would probably get a couple of side eye because you're taller than everybody. So I think, but when I was in Armenia, being that it's not a popular tourist spot, seeing an American, it's kind of like, whoa, like what is he doing here? Like that was my first time experiencing it. So you catching all these side eyes is it was new to me. So, but I think in France, you know, there are more Africans here, so I kind of just blend in and don't really run into no problems for real. But it can happen. I've seen it happen, but just not personally.
So more so on the basketball court, do you feel like anybody attacks you hard is like, oh, this American hooper think he can come over here and da 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 da. Like you ever had that issue?
Um, if so, I never noticed it. I just feel like being a basketball player, you should attack anybody with that same aggression or whatever. Like whether he's American or not, you know, this is your opponent, so why not go at him? I'm gonna come at you, so I expect for you to come at me. Never had nobody say it though, so I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you ever met Hunter Preston that played with me. He played at CSU the past 3 years. So I don't know if you ever ran into him or anything, but you know he plays in Spain right now, and you know he done mentioned to me a couple times that you know every now and then he feel like people might treat him differently because he said he don't know if it's because he's black or because he American because there ain't too many black people in Spain. So he's like, I don't know if it's because I'm black or if it's because I'm American, but every now and then he might get treated differently, like not getting his food at a restaurant same time as other people and stuff like that. And then, but he said on the court, like, you know, it's kind of like, I think everybody kind of recognizes, like, okay, you know, this is just basketball, whatever. Like, they go at everybody. He's never mentioned to me that people are going at him harder because he's an American, nothing like that. So maybe that's just not a thing, or it's not that big of a thing over there, or I don't know.
Dang, that's tough. I don't know. I never had any bad experiences. Restaurants, Ubers, nothing.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm just lucky. I hate to hear that for him though. I hope he taking care of himself.
Nah, yeah, he
Yeah,
good. Like,
yeah.
nothing too crazy, but he just be saying
Uh,
stuff like that be happening to him, and he don't know why. So, but like you said, like in France, like there's Africans in France and stuff, so like it's not that uncommon to see a black person walking around, but in Spain, I imagine it is. So maybe that's just the difference. But nah, he good
maybe,
though. I
yeah,
talk to
maybe,
him on the regular.
maybe so. I don't know. I think I've had great hospitality in all the countries I've stayed in. Switzerland, France, Netherlands, all been, great people towards me.
So mental toughness is one of the biggest things that I know pretty much every coach preaches to the players, and also one of the biggest factors in the players' game is the mental toughness. So I know that a lot of coaches wish their players would be mentally tougher, and they struggle with teaching them and understanding, what mental toughness is to apply it to the game. So to help you guys out, I wrote a whole ebook breaking down what mental toughness is, different factors that make up what mental toughness is, and different ways that you can apply it to your life and your game, because it's a good blend of the player and the person, of how both sides of you can grow in your mental toughness. So I broke it down in the ebook, the Mental Toughness Playbook. The whole ebook is about 50 pages, a little less than 50 pages, easy to read, a simple breakdown of what mental toughness is, different factors and different areas in it that impact your mental toughness, and how you can grow and develop in there. So if you're interested in it, it's in the description below. So go ahead and hit that link and invest into yourself by investing into your mindset and mental toughness. Because I personally believe that your brain and your mind is so much powerful than you give it credit. So invest into your mindset, and then your body will follow afterwards. So the Mental Toughness Playbook, get the ebook below. If you tune into it, thank you. I appreciate it. If not, it's fine. Get back to the rest of the episode. See you later. Yeah. One thing I'm kind of curious about, man. He says you about 5'9", man. So that's not the most common height to, graduate to make it to overseas, man. So like, what do you think did that separated you from other guys to get over there? So if you like, 5'9" point guard right now, he's in high school trying to get in your position. Like, what would you tell him? What would you help him out with?
Uh, the mental, the mental. I think my mental is what separates me from a lot of guys. Being that my approach is different, my the studying of my craft is different. Even like, so you said the high school kid. When I was in high school, like my approach was I'm walking to the gym 6 in the morning. Like I'm in there working, making sure that my skill set is pinpoint, no errors in it. Because when you're smaller, you don't have much room for errors.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you do is on it's on the big screen. You get scored on, it looks worse because you're smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just making sure, all right, I got to be perfect just for me to get by, just for me to get in the door. And after that, the work is still not done. So I think my mental, well, I think me knowing that is what separates me from a lot of guys, just being that I have a stronger mental and I know how to approach things, I know how to handle things, and my process is just different. All right, for sure.
To talk about a little bit of your process. I ain't trying to get you to spill all the secret sauce, man, but what goes into some of your process to train yourself to prepare for all these moments? Because your mental is different. I can tell that just from the answer to the question stuff. So like, what went into the process of getting to this man that you are right now?
Man, just I'm a huge fan of meditation. I would say my foundation was just how I mentioned earlier, being around Ben Smith, learning his craft and the way he went about his work, and taking that and implementing it into my process. So for me, where for us back then, it was what 6 days a week, 8 hours a day for 2 or 3 months. That was my summer. I go into school. I'm in there. maybe an hour and 30 before school. After school, we back in the gym. You go to sleep, you go to bed, you watching film. This is every day, every day, every day, till you get to the point where everything is second nature, and then you go out and try it against your peers, and it's everything is just unraveling. It's like you already seen it before, so it just makes everything so much easier. And to be honest, that's still my process to this day. Even being that somebody will say I made it or I'm a professional, but the work is still the same. You actually put in more work now, to be honest, and it's still, taking care of my body, making sure I'm eating the right foods, making sure my mental in the right space, and still being a kid and studying the game, having fun with it. I think that's most important too. So I think, man, the process is the fun part. So much goes into it, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like, that's the beauty of it, to be honest.
So it's like the bulk of your mental training. I mean, like not just basketball wise, but kind of like overall. It's like, is the bulk of it meditation? And like, what kind of meditation do you do, like for you personally?
A lot of still meditation, or I may have some soft music in the background to where I'm just, processing my thoughts, or I'm visualizing what I want to do next, and just making sure I'm connected at all times. Making sure I'm in the right space. If I'm feeling emotionally frustrated, I'm challenging myself to deal with that in the best way possible, whether it's, friendship, relationship, or the coaching staff or whatever, just making sure I'm always in the right place, in the right space to be able to operate and to be the best that I can be. Still meditation, yeah, just meditating on just being still. I think I heard this quote where they said Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan just because he was always present in the moment. So I just challenge myself to always be present, whatever moment I'm in. If I'm like right now having this podcast with you guys, just being present, just being focused on this. When I'm playing basketball, just focusing on basketball, and so on and so on. So just always trying to develop that to a higher awareness. And yeah, it's a practice. You never really master it. Like it's every day. Just got to show up and put in the work.
Yeah, that's kind of what meditation or peaceful meditation is all about. And it's really because you never like master meditation. It's always an ongoing journey. And I can tell you understand that because you said everything you're talking about is about the process. So I can tell you enjoy all of it because there is no such thing as the end goal. The end goal is more work. And when you enjoy the work, it's not hard work for you. So I can tell you enjoy 100%. Every piece that you've been a part of from high school to college and every piece of the pro game, because mentally you have to be different to overcome what you've overcame. To feel like you deserve this spot is not there yet. So you get a crossroad, you got to make a decision. And I can tell like mentally you're built different. So where did that mindset and the confidence come from? Because most kids will hit that crossroad and it's like, man, I'm gonna just give up and quit, or this ain't for me, or whatever. So where did that confidence and mindset come from to keep going on regardless?
I think I was just molded different. Like I grew up around guys who were strong men. Like I grew up around men who always my dad's a Marine. So Marines, they're tough guys, hey, chin up, chest out, look at me in my eyes type. So that was always embedded in me, and it just stuck with me, to be honest. And as I got older, I recognized that power or whatever, and I just embodied it. I took it with me in everything I did, and I love it. And I wish every guy could experience it, and I think everybody can experience it. You just got to tap in.
I can definitely relate. My dad's a Marine, so I've grown up with that,
man. Yeah. That's crazy. Well, so we know how it can be.
We here, my guy. We here.
Yeah, hey, we here. No jokes.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. So I only got two more questions, and I'm done, bro. But
No, I'm good, man. You can ask whatever.
but nah, man. So you kind of mentioned your trainer, man. So is that someone that you feel like is like a pivotal piece to you that played a role into that mindset game, or is it just like you said, the men that were around you?
100%. Ben is like a big brother to me for sure. I still go home. My bad. I had to move my camera, but I still go home and even to this day, I work out with him. And we're pretty similar. Like I look at Ben like identical. Like he looked just like me. He moves just like me. So it only made sense for me to take from him. Like, and in the game of basketball, it's okay to take from another guy. Like it wouldn't make sense for me to have a professional in my hometown and not mold my game after him. So being that I had that in arm reach, it basically it's like a cheat code. Like a cheat code. So once I started working out with him, in comparison to my peers, the separation was just different. So once I realized that, it's like, okay, I'm finna dive deeper. What more can I get out of this? I'm finna milk it all the way to where I can get every single thing out of this guy that I can. And I can remember when we'll finish our workouts, I would go and sit in my phone. He probably think I was texting or something, but I'm writing down everything we just did. I'm writing down every single workout in my phone. So when he's not around, when I'm back in Columbus, I can get the same work. So man, it was just always just being that fly on the wall when I was around him or the other guys as well, because I had more similar guys like him. Just always been that fly on the wall, just always having my ear open, just always having that desire to learn. So that's definitely a huge piece of my foundation from being from Dublin and being around those guys.
You got like a Dame Lillard like type work ethic. Like the way just hearing you talk remind me of like Dame. Like you ever hear Dame talk about like his process like a college to like get into the NBA. Like it almost sounds the same. Like just putting the work in, not being afraid of the grind, stuff like that. So like do you have like an NBA comparable or like an NBA guy that you look up to, somebody like that? Like who do you compare your game to in the NBA?
I respect Dane for sure. Growing up, I was a Allen Iverson guy. But I think, yeah. but when I started trying to mold my game, it was more so of a Steve Nash and Chris Paul. I watched those guys still to this day, every single day. If I were to say present, I watch so many guys, man. It's hard to pinpoint just one. Stephen Curry's shooting ability, Kyrie, the way he's able to create art out there. Who else? Trae Young, Ja Morant, Tony Parker. I even watched guys who most people would not even know about, and I would just be like, okay, I like the way he did that. Let me try that out. Let me put that in my game. So, and there's so many guys, even the European guys, Capasso, man, there's so many. Like I'm really a basketball guy. Like I can sit and watch basketball every single day. If I'm on Instagram, I'm scrolling, I'm watching basketball. I'm on Twitter, I'm watching basketball. Like, just my enjoyment.
And that's crazy because I told Coach Moore and Coach Butler, I said, I've only seen Cori play twice. And when I tell you he looked like a mini Chris Paul, like, and they was like, Chris Paul, I was like, yes, like the way like he come off a screen and create separation is very Chris Paul. Like, I guess they thought I was talking about like just passing and stuff. I'm like, no, like movement. Like he moved like Chris Paul. Like, do y'all not see that? Because I remember one time playing, you came to look like last summer or the summer before, I can't remember. and you was playing pickup. You came off the screen. I remember the move. That's how much it like stuck to my memory. You came off the screen, and like they kind of like hedged it a little bit, and you kind of went tween like you finna split, cross back, and then like sidestep like 2 extra steps to the midi, and you was like 5 feet away from the nearest defender.
I remember. Is
that like baby Chris Paul to y'all? Like the way he did it was like boom, boom, sidestep this way. I was like, yo, like
that's crazy. That's crazy that you can like picture paint that, and I can visually see what you're saying. That's crazy.
I saw that and I was like, this man different. And it was like the first time I seen you play pickup. Because like everybody can't do moves like that, going both ways, using both hands, stuff like that. Them like very like small details like only hoopers will really see. You know what I'm saying? So my first time seeing you play, and then I was paying attention to you honestly because like, you know, how much Komori like mentioned you and stuff. Like you probably like his favorite guy he can coach. He just said that to I don't know if he ever told you. But
nah.
So, like,
nah, I mean, I appreciate that, bro, because I like talking basketball and just hearing your details of what you saw like that warms my heart knowing that somebody else appreciate the craft and the work that I had to put in to be able to make that move. So because it wasn't just I actually worked on that. So I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I'm already knowing. Like, coach had been told me, like, you know, the stuff you did while you was here and stuff. Like, he hyped you up to me. So then the first time you came, I was like, let me pay attention to this dude, like, see, you know, if he the real deal, you know, all the stuff coach be saying. And like, that was one of the like first games you would play. You would made that little move, hit the midi, and I was like, all right, yeah, this guy, he's for real. So, yeah, man, I can definitely see the work you put in because, like, shoot, I can't do it. So, like, not that one.
It's probably was Chris Paul from that one. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, man, mini Chris Paul, like, I'll tell you. And then to be your size and, like, play the game the way you play it, like, obviously you're going to have to develop the ability to create separation, get your shot off, stuff like that. You know, stuff that I ain't never really thought about. So, like, I don't have them same thoughts and abilities to make up these moves. Like, I think more of, like, when I'm getting my shot off more often than not, I'm going to bump you. Like, I'm going to use my sideline. I'm going to hit you with this shoulder and kind of back up and lean, whatever, hook shot. That's how I get my shot off. But, like, a guy like you got to create all this separation and, like, split guys, use your speed, get by guys, stuff like that. So when I watch stuff like that, and I kind of just be amazed because I'm like, I can't do that. I can't move that way. Like if I would have tried to tween cross and then sidestep, I'm definitely losing the ball after the crossover, or somebody gonna take it because the crossover was too wide or something like that. Like I would never get away with that. So yeah, I definitely see the work you put in all the time.
Everything is calculated, bro. When you're my size or when you're playing against people who are, you know, taller than you, I would say, everything is calculated. I got to sell it with my shoulder, my hips. I got to sell everything. I got to be able to recognize their mistake instantly, just so my timing can be right for my move or whatever. So everything is calculated, bro. Like everything, and that's why I do what I do with the visualization, with the film session. Just always trying to make my reads a little bit sharper, on point than it was before previously. So yeah, it's a lot to go into it, man. It's all calculated.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. I watch your videos that you post on like IG and stuff like that. Like if I see you go across my timeline, I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna be like, let me see what he did right here. You one of them guys. I'm like, let me see what he did right here because like ever since that move, I know the skill you got. So I'm like, let me see what he did. And so I can see how like smooth you're with the ball, stuff like that. So yeah, man. Just let you know, like, you know, I can see the work. Like, if don't nobody else see, I'm sure a lot of people do, but I
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
All right,
so can you kind of break down your visualization and like, I know of course you like go over film session stuff, but like for some like a younger player who doesn't fully understand like what goes into your visualization training of like what you're doing.
So when I refer to like visualizing things, one way I do it to where, let's say I had a game yesterday. The next day I would come into the gym and I would walk through everything that happened in my mind, slow motion. I would slow everything down because if you can do it slow, you can do it fast. And as I'm slowing it down, I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing my mistakes. I'm seeing their mistakes. I'm seeing what I should have did, how I could have did it better, how I could have did it more sharper. And just making sure my decision making is on point for the next time I experience that situation. Another way I do it is where, and I've been doing this since a kid. I think every kid start off this way. You watch a basketball highlight, or let's say Allen Iverson, Chris Paul. You go into the backyard, you go try out that move, and you do it 1,000 times. And that's another way I do it. But another way I would do it is where I will watch, let's say, Kyrie Irving breaks down this defender. I would try to see it from the defensive guy point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can see it from his point of view, I can see what he's looking at. So now I'm understanding all of that. So if I guard a guy like Kyrie Irving, or if I go against a defender, I know it's like everything I'm already seeing it. So it's like deja vu, basically, when I do it in present time. And I just every day, visualizing it.
So can you explain in your definition, or from your perspective, why that's so important?
Because that way your decision making is on point. You won't be surprised by any defense or anything that comes your way throughout a game. You already seen it before, and that actually it's pretty like it's like science, where your mental is connected to your movements of your body. So you stay healthy. You don't make that wrong move just because you're surprised, and you don't hurt yourself because your movements are intact. You already did the movements slowly. If you can do it slow, you can do it fast. So I think it's very important. And being that you're a point guard, the tempo is on you. So if it's slow for me, I can slow down my teammates to make them calm. And now we're in alignment. We're all playing together at the same speed, the speed that we need to play at. And it just look more fluent. It just looks. I'm an organized guy, so I like things to be organized, and I'd rather for it to be fluid than to be chaotic and messy. Yeah.
Like, I'm glad you said it's a science, because they said that the brain sometimes can't tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. And so when you visualize something, you kind of putting your brain through that pattern already. So when it happens again in the physical, it's just a repetition of what you visualized. So 100%. If you visually, like shooting your free throws or whatever, and you visualize and you make it a 10 in a row, if I actually physically shoot it, your brain thinks that it shot 11, but it actually only shot 1. So that's kind of like, for me personally, why visualization is so important. So like you said, for yourself, like decision making. So you broke down this decision making 10 times already in your brains. When the game comes, you come off that pick and roll, you're slowing yourself down, because now you just slowing down with decision to make, versus it's the first time you've seen it. So you getting blitzed off a pick, and you just like, you know what to do, versus, I didn't got blitzed 10 times in my brain. I done split this 10 times in my brain. I didn't, whatever your decision making is, you done broke it down in your brain 10 times already. So like, you just kind of like took it and twisted just a little bit to make it make sense for you. So I like that.
100%. And like, say you're getting blitzed on that screen, or you see it coming, you can recognize it much faster. Like you seeing things before they even happen. So it's like, now you're really like moving godly. Like I said, Chris Paul, point guard, he's just seeing things before they happen because he don't experience it so many times. And it could be the same for everybody. You just got to do the work. But for sure, 100%.
Yeah, just hearing you talk, bro, I can see a lot of Chris Paul in your game. Like, I ain't even like seen your film, nothing like that. Just from hearing how you break down the game and stuff, I can see a lot of Chris Paul in your game, bro. So
see, people, my guy. I want him to win one. I think now at the time, if it wasn't 2 or 3 years ago, it should be now. They got KD.
If he don't win this year, man, something wrong.
Oh man. He might hang it up.
Yeah. Might be a wrap for him.
Yeah, man. So not for real, for real. Only got two more questions. But so if you had to give somebody their flowers, man, you know, everybody kind of feels like we got somebody in our life that's a little slept on, a little undeserving of love and respect. So it can be a coach that you've had, a coach that you currently have, a teammate, trainer, whoever, somebody that you feel like, you know, if I could stand up on a podium in front of the whole world and give you your flowers, who is this person for you that it'll be? You feel like, man, you slept on, but here's an opportunity for me to put you on game right now. So who's that for you?
Somebody that slept on. Mm. You caught me off guard with that one.
You already mentioned a couple people that helped you along the way.
Yeah, but I don't think they're slept on because I like to tell them constantly what they mean to me.
Well, maybe not even slept on, just somebody you could give their flowers like publicly. So like you tell them 1-to-1, but like I got a platform right now on this podcast to give you your flowers so everybody can know how great you are.
I would probably say my auntie. My auntie. She basically introduced me to the game of basketball. She was there. She's been there with me throughout the way. High school games, she been throwing out so many just because she was so much behind me, and man, she's one of a kind, spirit one of a kind. So I would definitely say my auntie. I don't know if she'll see this or whatever, but I might share it to her. But yeah, she's been with me throughout the way. She taught me a lot, and if not my auntie, maybe I have so many people that mean so much to me. Like I think once you have like if you got a good group of people that's really behind you, it's nothing you can't do. So my people is probably like they're very important to me, and I wouldn't be me without them. You know, that made my job so much easier just focusing on basketball, making sure I don't have to worry about anything else. So from my mom, my dad, my friends, all the coaches who the relationship has always surpassed just being a coach and player relationship. It's always of a father-son relationship or a brother-to-brother relationship. Like, so man, it's so many people. Ben Smith, that guy showed me so much. Antoine Pardo, who was kind of like another trainer for me, who told me to focus more so on developing my body for the college level, and we always had a relationship. Man, I can go on for days, man. My current teammates, you know, I got a couple of OGs who teach me the games of navigating the European leagues and making sure you're handling your finances the right way, making sure you're taking care of your body the right way. And man, and I would probably give my guy Auburn Kamai some more flowers just because he has been with me throughout my whole process. Like when I went to Armenia, he ended up signing in Armenia too. So I had somebody who I knew to lean on, and he's always been there. It's like we've always been twin flames, just always a guy I can call on and can trust and to be there for me and to always encourage me to be better and to be who I am. So he definitely deserved his flowers. And even when we went to the championship, he was a huge part of that run. And that next year we was missing him, and I don't think guys recognized that as much as I did, how important he was to our success. So shouts out to Auburn Kamai.
I respect that, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So last one.
I gotta send this to him now that I met him.
He gonna watch it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So yeah, last one, man. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a good one for this one, but just over your career, man, you done played from high school, college, now you pro, multiple places, multiple leagues, and everything, man. So what is something that you've taken away from the game that you apply to your life? It can be a lesson that an OG gave you, like, at the time pulled you into the corner from the gym and, hey, man, you do X, Y, and Z, da, 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 da. After you said that, you was like, man, that really hit me. And it's like, that's bigger than basketball. So, like, what's something that you learned about yourself or somebody gave you has gained that you've taken off the court and applied it to your life?
I think basketball is it's definitely a way of life. Like I've learned so many lessons throughout the years. I think the flow of it is pretty much the same, as in you learn so much. I think it's pretty similar to business, where you can you learn how to operate as a team. You learn how to have empathy for your teammates, for your coworkers, or your friends. Being a point guard, you know how to talk to people differently. I might have to approach you differently than I approach Nelson. What else? Man, the process, understanding the process. You know, everything is a process. There's so many lessons, man. I remember maybe going into Armenia. I remember a coach telling me, what did he say? Going into Armenia, you know, you're the only American. You're going into a new group, but you still finna be that guy. So I remember him telling me, don't try to adjust to them. Make them adjust to you. And just having that alpha power, that leadership power, and stepping in and not being afraid to lead guys who you don't know, but knowing that it must be done. I think basketball has definitely made me a better leader, a better man to what I am today, and hopefully it would translate to me being a better or a good father, a good man of a household one day. I think that's pretty much the same as being a point guard. You know, you're calling the plays, you're running the shots, you're making sure everything is flowing the way it should. So I can see the similarity in that. Yeah, basketball, it's a way of a life, man. It's a way of a life. I can write a book on it.
You might need to, man. Just,
I thought about it. I'm gonna do it one day. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get my charger.
All right.
I do need to write a book.
Just give us a 2% writing credit on it.
2%.
Yeah, definitely got to get it done one day.
Yeah, to give us a little, I don't know, 2% sound fair, right?
Yeah. One for me, one for you.
Yeah, man.
Boy, but you definitely do it. You got a way with words. You already said you be writing. Definitely go.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get it done. I'm just trying to experience life a little bit more. Maybe my perspective might change whenever 5 years from now. So we will see.
I respect that.
So, B, you got any more questions for my guy?
Nah, that's it, man. You can wrap it up for us.
All right. So that does it for another episode, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed our interview. The CSU legend, Jacori Payne. Be sure to like and subscribe. Drop down in the comments if you got any questions for Cori that we may not have touched on. Just drop them in the comments and I'll get them to him. I might reply. I might not, depend on something like. But yeah, man. Be sure to follow Cori on all social media. At @smooth_smooth sniper on Instagram and Twitter. So be sure to go follow him up and keep track of the process that he's making. We already we gave y'all part of his journey. Y'all can follow the rest of it. He's already on his way up, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna keep elevating. So y'all go follow the journey over there. With that being said, also follow Brian. That's on social media at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on all social media platforms. You can follow me at NellyH34 on Twitter, at Nelson.Hassan on IG, and you can find me at my name on Facebook, and we keep the conversation going on over there. Be sure to follow the podcast on TikTok, going across the bottom of your screen right now if you're on YouTube, but it's BeBall Jones Podcast if you're listening. But yeah, man, that does it for another episode. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in next week for another great one. It might be an interview. You might just have to see me and B talk it out again. You got to show up to find out. But that does it for us here at the BeBall Jones podcast, man. Without further ado, we out.